What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Destiny might be an action-packed, space-aged loot and shooter, but it's also a game that's filled to the brim with secrets that even the most veteran players can miss. So today we're going to be checking out several lesser-known Easter eggs, secrets, and hidden details that are currently in Destiny 2 that you might not have known about. Over the years, Bungie has removed a lot of content from Destiny, and certain activities and destinations are no longer accessible, so we're going to do our best to only discuss the secrets that are still active. Not many of these secrets will hold any real value when it comes to your actual gaming experience, but there's a few that might come in handy from time to time, and there's several that should give you a laugh or two. We start by looking into a few hidden details on one of Destiny's newest activities, the Vespers Host Dungeon. When you first enter into the Braytech space station, the AI program will scan you and your equipped weapons, and it'll respond with an audio log stating that your gear is out of order. But when you're equipped with one of 3 different exotic weapons, you'll receive a special voice line catered to each exotic. This includes the Outbreak Perfected, the Hierarchy of Needs, and the Revision 0.
You're contaminated with banned technology. Security will be alerted. Be more careful, all right? Interdictive machine intelligence. I don't understand. I don't understand. Threat alert cancelled. All hands take off your helmets. Breathe in.
During your time in the new dungeon, you'll attempt to discover what exactly has happened in this space station. Before reaching the final boss encounter, the AI program advises that the anomaly that's in question is creating a unique energy that's most closely related to arc energy, but the AI warns that the arc energy should never look like that. This isn't resonant energy like we've seen used by the Witness, which means this could be an early Easter egg towards a future darkness subclass that would be the opposite of arc, just as stasis has been the opposite of solar and Strand has been the opposite of void. Like all dungeons, Vespers Host is filled with its own collectibles, but it's also filled with hidden objectives that will unlock the catalyst for the Icebreaker exotic sniper rifle. One of the objectives is to quite literally play a computerized version of Tic-Tac-Toe by using 4 computer consoles in this hidden room. In another recent dungeon, the Warlord's Ruin, players journey into a scorn-filled castle to fight the spirit of a long-dead Ahamkara, a wish dragon named Heffend. After collecting all of the hidden bones within this dungeon and defeating the secret dungeon boss, players discover that it was in fact Lord Shax who originally defeated Heffend, which means some of the bones that are now trophies in the tower could have actually been from Heffend. The Ghost of the Deep dungeon sends players back to Titan to prevent the Lucent Hive from resurrecting Oryx. In the opening area of this dungeon, there is a secret tank that you can summon to make completing this first encounter much easier. There's 6 different consoles scattered across the opening map, and by activating all of the consoles, you'll summon a big-ass tank that you can jump into and drive around. Over the years, we've seen a number of references from Bungie's former Halo franchise, but did you know that the grave of Master Chief is hidden within Destiny? While completing the questline for the Forerunner, players will journey into the Eternity to discover lost relics, and in that process, we find a cryopod containing none other than Master Chief. Another really nice callback to Halo was the Confetti weapon mod, which triggers a special audio cue whenever landing precision final blows. And hidden within the Last Wish raid, there is a wish wall, and by inserting the 11th wish, players will activate a special modifier, and that triggers that grunt birthday party effect for the entirety of your session in that raid. And by entering in the 8th wish on the wish wall, players will trigger a special song that will play called Hope for the Future, which was originally recorded by the legendary Paul McCartney, which played at the end credits of Destiny 1. There are now 3 secret Vex portals hidden within Destiny. When the Vault of Glass was brought back, players were quick to discover a Vex portal that led to nowhere. And when the Whisper mission released, we got another portal, and it was presumed that those two portals were somehow connected. But now with the introduction of the Encore exotic mission, another Vex portal has arrived, and this one requires the Whisper of the Worm to access, which is the exotic that's rewarded from the Whisper mission. Unlike the other portals in Vault of Glass and Whisper, jumping through the Encore portal will activate a special version of the exotic mission that rewards a unique emblem called the Transient Whisperer. Farming public events is a practice that most veteran players have given up on because there's not a lot of variation between the events. So if you haven't participated in public events on the Dreaming City or the EDZ here lately, you might not have known that Tormentors are now spawning as the legendary boss when completing public events in Resilvia and the Sludge. There's a secret cave within the Skywatch, and it serves as a callback to the old loot cave of Destiny 1, and by entering into the cave and interacting with the pile of bones, you'll get a very creepy audio line.
A million deaths are not enough for Master Raoul.
There's a hidden city within the Cosmodrome, and you can spot it by going to the car wreckage where Ghost first revived you. Off into the distance, you can spot a tiny silhouette of an unknown city. And if you had checked this out years ago, you would have seen some weird statues floating in the air just above the city. But at some point in the last few years, the statues have been removed. There's a hidden chest within the Dreaming City that most players don't know how to open. In the Garden of Essela, there's a special worm host chest. By locating and defeating 10 of these fat, slimy worms, you'll unlock access to this chest. You probably won't get anything more than Glimmer for opening the chest, but it's still a fun little activity to do at least once. Outside of those nasty worms, there's a lot of creatures and wildlife in Destiny 2, and by accessing this secluded area of Savathûn's throne world, which can be reached by entering into the Lightblade Strike, players can see a hidden lagoon monster. Ever since the introduction of the Witch Queen expansion, players have had to deal with a more troubling creature called lucent moths. These little buggers can be a nuisance, unless of course you're a hunter, because performing a dodge next to one of these guys will cause them to disengage and fly the other way. Another enemy type that has always given players some issues are the ones that explode, like Cursed Thrall, Detonator Shanks, and Screeps. Shooting these enemies when they're right up on you will almost always result in death, but did you know that you can prevent these enemies from exploding by just finishing them? When the final shape was released, a new enemy race was introduced, called the Dread, and we've been told by the developers that this new race has its own distinct language, and that it can be translated. While the efforts to translate this language are still ongoing, there's many players that believe the euphony and its cryptic lore might be the key towards transcribing this mysterious language. Callus has been one of Destiny's biggest baddies ever since the Red War, and even though we've now defeated him, just like we did the Witness, he is still always watching. Whenever traversing through the Ahisma Park, the large statue of Callus in the background is positioned to where his eyes will always be looking at you. It's kinda creepy, but it also shows he cares. The Thrillodrome arcade is one of the coolest places to visit on Neptune. It's decked out with top shelf bars and the latest gaming experiences, including Dance Dance Revolution and a couple of claw games that reward little Banshee toys. And if you look closely at some of the gaming consoles, you'll see some exo diagrams, which are also found in the Deepstone Crypt. And did you know that there's in-game action figures of Clouch Raiders like Nimbus, and you can discover and collect these while on Neomuna? If you visit the K1 Logistics Lost Sector on the Moon, you'll discover a smashed up satellite, which is a callback to a real-life satellite that crashed on the Moon. And by interacting with the satellite, you'll unlock the Orbital Cartographer emblem. The tower is where players spend most of their days, but did you know that there's tons of secrets within the tower? You can light up the sky with fireworks by pushing these 4 little balls into the correct positioning, but you can also achieve this by going to each designated area and just pulling out your ghost. There's a hidden maze within the annex that leads players into the tower's security and the armory. This was an unused asset for years, but during Season of the Seraph, players had to take this route to locate Archie. Sometimes you'll notice that NPCs behave erratically, But if you head over to the annex, where the Sparrow repair shop is, you'll find a mechanic that likes to walk backwards. Once upon a time, players were able to play soccer in the hangar bay, but at the time of this video, the soccer ball has been removed, but players can still interact with the blast panels and cross through the soccer goal areas. Security at the tower takes safety seriously, and if you head over to the annex, you'll find a Days Without Accident board. This is a real-time counter that will drop down to 0 when anyone jumps off the side. There's a special room in the tower that becomes restricted once a year. During the Festival of the Lost, this area of the bazaar gets boarded up as it gets overran by a horde of ghosts. What are they doing down there? And why do those Elixni not care? Nobody knows. Destiny wouldn't be the same without its unique exotic weapons and armor, and some of these have their own little secrets, so let's talk about a few of those. The Conditional Finality Raid exotic is a hard-hitting shotgun, but what most players don't realize is that this exotic has unique synergy with other weapons that come with harmonic resonance, granting those weapons with increased damage, handling, and reload speed whenever using these weapons against Tormentors, Dread, Lucent Hive, and other players. The Touch of Malice is another raid exotic that has some unique synergy with a specific set of weapons. Weapons of sorrow like the Thorn, the Osteostriga, or the Necrochasm will deal bonus damage against enemies who have been struck by the Touch of Malice's charged up blight. The Witherhoard exotic grenade launcher creates fields of blight that damage enemies over time, and when using the Malfeasance or the Wishender against those enemies, you'll deal bonus damage, as those enemies will be treated as if they were taken. The Mask of Baccharis is a really unique hunter exotic that transforms your dodge into a dash, and it provides bonus damage to any stasis or arc weapon. But what a lot of players don't know about this exotic is that it will provide that same bonus and damage to the Lord of Wolves, a solar exotic shotgun. The Young Ahamkara Spine is another hunter exotic that provides more benefits than what its description reads, as this exotic provides the intrinsic ability of Fastball, which lets you throw your grenades further with increased velocity. The Merciless has always been a great exotic to call upon for optimal damage because of its ability to reduce its charge time between consecutive shots. But what a lot of players might not realize is that this exotic has built-in Feeding Frenzy, which increases your reload speed after defeating enemies. The Thunderlord is another exotic that will really pump out a lot of damage, but what a lot of players don't know about this exotic is that it has built-in dynamic sway reduction, which greatly reduces this weapon's recoil on sustained fire. The Hard Light is a unique exotic auto rifle that swaps between all 3 light-based energies, but its lore tab is a complete word-for-word copy of Steve Jobs' reveal of the iPhone. For a game that spanned the course of nearly a decade, there's a lot of secrets, Easter eggs, and hidden details that are out there, so if we didn't mention one, be sure to let us know what that is down in the comments below. But for now, that's going to wrap up today's video on 36 different secrets, Easter eggs, and hidden details that you might not have known about. Let us know what your thoughts about all of these hidden details are, and if you already knew about them, or did some of these surprise you, let us know down below. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and want to see more, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. And a special thank you to all of the current channel members. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.